Go home yet, despite Yahya Jammeh's concession to step down. They say they will only feel safe to return after the 22-year ruler leaves the country. More than 45,000 people have fled into neighbouring Senegal this January, fearing violence. This after ECOWAS mobilised forces to remove Jammeh by forces after expressing his intention to cling to power.
Waiting to return home. But only if Yahya Jammeh leaves the country he's ruled for 22 years. And his statement to hand over power to Adama Barrow is no insurance, as it made no mention of him leaving the country, and uncertainty still lingers on among Gambian refugees in Senegal.
I have never experienced war. It has been peaceful, and I have never heard even a gunshot. I was scared of how the situation was getting worse, and that's why I decided to leave.
And she's not alone. A student refugee in Senegal is also doubtful of returning home.
The last news I heard, they said that the ECOWAS is still talking to Jammeh. They're negotiating amnesty for him to leave. I think the moment that he leaves, people will go back to their home. But if Jammeh stays in the country, a lot of Gambians have fear to go back to their country.
The latest developments in the tiny West African country promised to bring to a close a reign that began in 1994 when Jammeh seized power in a coup. Through the years, Jammeh's government established a reputation of torturing and killing perceived opponents to stifle dissent. This could also set a precedent in Africa, whereby a head of state has been pressured by a military threat to step down.
Instead of putting the country ahead of partisan interests, we continue to cling to our own vested interests. That's the problem in Africa.
But after losing elections last month, he refused to step down. This led to the ECOWAS sending a delegation to Banjul to persuade Jammeh to respect the will of the people. The elected president had to be sworn in at the Gambian embassy in Senegal. The regional body also sent in troops after the UN adopted a resolution that called on Jammeh to hand over power. Jammeh has now acceded to the demand after 22 years at the helm of a tiny West African nation.
I have decided today, in good conscience, to relinquish the mantle of leadership of this great nation with infinite gratitude to all Gambians, women, children, youth and men, and friends of the Gambia who have supported me for 22 years in the building of a modern Gambia.
He has called on Gambians to work together.
I implore them all to put the supreme interest of our nation, the Gambia, above all partisan interests, and endeavor working together as one nation to continue to preserve the highly cherished achievements of the country, its sovereignty, peace, stability and integrity, as well as the economic achievements realized during these years.
Gambia's army chief has promised not to fight. Sophie Mkwena, SABC News, Johannesburg.